Last year was probably the worst year in my life. And I remember waking up every single day and I felt like I had no emotions. I felt like I was becoming stone cold. And this is not an exaggeration. I remember waking up and going through the same day every single day. So what I would do is wake up, eat breakfast, outreach for 4 hours, have lunch, outreach for another 4 hours, maybe have some walk, do something like this for 10 minutes, get back, outreach for another 4 hours, and have lunch, sleep, and that's it. I wasn't social, I had quit all my hobbies, and I wasn't even speaking to my family at the time. And I felt like that was taking a toll on my mental health. You probably think, oh, you're soft, you're soft, you're soft. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And I wanted to share some things with you. Some things that, if I were to go back, I would do a bit differently. Because I realized that it's not just about making 10k a month if you sacrifice everything and you feel like dying, or you lose your emotions, you become this, I don't know, this stone cold person. I feel like you shouldn't do this. And this is something I would change if I were to go back. So the first thing I would do is, there's something that people say that people are species of change. And what I mean by that is, people don't want to be doing the same thing again and again and again. You probably felt this too. Maybe you start outreaching the whole day for 1 to 2 days, and you feel good. You're like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. But then a few days pass, and you're like, I feel burned out. I don't want to do this. I want to take a little bit of rest. And I know what they say. You need to be pushing yourself. Of course you need to be pushing yourself. Of course you need to be pushing yourself. Of course you cannot just say, okay, I don't feel like it, I'm not going to work today. You cannot say this. You need to be working every single day. But if I were to change one thing, is to not quit my hobbies. Maybe I would reduce the time I was doing them, but I wouldn't cut them down instantly. And you get the point. You get what I mean. I wouldn't cut them out. I may be doing my hobbies for 30 minutes a day, 1 hour a day, whatever. And then one other thing I would do is go out with friends more. That's what I would do, because people wanna see some change. And now that I've got all of this stuff back into my life, now that I'm making $10,000 a month, I feel like it's gonna help me make a lot more money. And it's because when you're doing all these other activities, your brain is, and your subconscious brain comes up with more ideas. Maybe you've realized this too. Maybe you're walking somewhere, and out of nowhere you come up with some idea when you weren't listening to music, we weren't doing anything. Maybe you're cleaning the dishes, maybe you're in the shower, maybe whatever. And when you're doing this, some random idea comes up in your brain. Maybe some unique way you can outreach. That's how I feel this too. And in my phone, if you see my phone, I have an entire ideas, notes, and action steps notes on my phone, where whenever I have an idea like this, I write it down. That's something you can do. Now, the second thing I realized is that it's better to succeed in 2 years and be 100% certain that you would reach that point than to speedrun copywriting in 3 to 6 months and go crazy. It's much easier because it's not about intensity, but it's about consistency. Okay, who do you think wins? The person who stays in the game for 5 years, or the person who stays in the game for 5 years and works for 4 hours a day, or the person who tries to speedrun everything and works for 16 hours a day for 6 months? Who do you think will win? And this is something that Alex Hormoz is talking about. He says, play infinite games. And what he means by that is, you don't want to have the mindset of, oh, I'm going to start this and then I'm going to quit. You start something and you're like, I'm going to play this game forever. Game. Copywriting is a game. Of course, that's what I mean here. And you play this game until you succeed, until you want to. You play it forever. You never stop. That's the whole point. Because if you get into copywriting and have the mindset of stopping sometime, then why even get here? Or try something else. Go to college, get a 9 to 5, or I don't know, start working in construction. I don't know. So yeah, this is something I would do, because think about it. It's, if you find a way to sustain it, and let's say you stay in the game for 2 years, whatever, which I think it's gonna be way faster. It's not gonna take you 2 years to reach 10K a month, but let's say it would take 2 years. If you find a way to put copywriting into your schedule, and these 2 years pass, then you're there. You're gonna be there. You won't have to do anything crazy. You won't have to be doing all of this crappy stuff that people tell you, that 80 to 100 hour work weeks, and if you don't work 80 to 100 hours a week, you're fucking lazy, whatever. Or all these people who tell you, just buy my program, in 90 days you're gonna be at 10K a month, starting as a complete beginner, and all you're gonna be doing is writing some templatized emails. Do you see how this thing that copywriting gurus tell you is a bit garbage? Do you see that? How can you reach? It's like telling me you can become a professional fighter in 90 days. How? It's like telling me you can build an insane physique in 90 days when you have no experience, when you haven't gone to the gym one time in your life. It's like telling me you can become a surgeon in 90 days. How the fuck does that even make sense? Now maybe destroying your dreams, I don't know, but bro, you're not gonna reach 10K a month in 90 days. It's not gonna happen in 90 days. It's gonna happen in maybe it can happen in 6 to 9 months, or I don't know. If you're already in the game, maybe it can happen in 90 days if you're already in the game. But if you're a complete beginner, forget it. It's not gonna happen. And let's think about it. Even if I give you my clients, even if I give you all of my clients and you reach 10K a month, you don't have the experience. You don't know how to manage them. You don't know how to write copy for them. You don't know how to do a lot of stuff. So you're gonna lose them and you're gonna end up back in zero again. It's not about just reaching 10K a month. It's about acquiring the skills necessary so you can sustain that 10K a month and reach that 10K a month with your own value. And this is something I always felt. I don't know if you feel this too. I was like, okay, if somebody gave me his clients, I would be able to over deliver for them, and then I would reach 10K a month. All I need is just one client, and I'm gonna do all of this, and I'm gonna achieve all of my dreams. That's something I felt. Maybe you're feeling this too, or thought about this before. But I realized how big of a nonsense that is. It doesn't make any sense. Because remember what I said earlier, it's about the skills. I didn't have the skills back then. And the more I stay in the game, the more I acquire more and more skills. And very soon I'm going to be at 20K a month, 30K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month. It's all about acquiring skills. That's what it's all about. Remember what I said, infinite games. You want to play an infinite game. And the third thing I do the third thing I would do again and again and again, if I felt like quitting and burnout and all this stuff, is I would remember my why. Why do you want to do this? Why are you getting into copywriting? Why don't you want to go to college? Why don't you go to 9 to 5? Why don't you want to live all this other life? For me, my whys were, I don't want to take orders from anyone, whether that was professors, boss, parents, whatever. I wanted to make up my own decision. I didn't want to. That's probably the biggest one. I didn't want anybody else to tell me what to do. I just wanted to be like, okay, I don't want to do this. I'm not doing it. Why? Because. That was the biggest thing for me. The second was, all I could think about with copywriting was, I just wanted to make enough money. That's all I need. I didn't need to go to work or something. I wanted to be making just 1K a month, for example, pay for my living expenses, and just keep living this life where I'm just growing every single day, and I'm doing whatever I want for my whatever I want. That's what I wanted. So another thing I wanted to do is, of course, I wanted to flex on the haters. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. everybody wants to flex on exes, past friends. Everybody wants to flex on these people, and I'm not lying to you. That's what I wanted in the beginning. That was probably the biggest drive for me in the beginning. I just wanted to flex on everybody. That was it. Yeah, that was it. And then as I started getting deeper and deeper into copywriting, I just wanted to live my dream life. I wanted to be making enough money. I wanted to, let's say I wanted to travel. I wanted to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna travel. Or somebody from my family would say, I need money. Here it is. Here. Or I wanted to be able to just train full time. For me, I train 3 or 4 hours every single day, and I have some semi-pro fights, and that's what I want. That's what I want for me. I wanna be having steaks at night. I wanna be eating good food. I don't wanna be eating this crappy things that everybody eats, and I don't wanna. And another thing I didn't want is I didn't want to live an ordinary life or average life, whatever. And I don't mean this in an offensive way. I mean, I didn't want to be like, okay, I wake up, I go to work, I go back and I eat, I spend some time with my kids, never have sex with my wife, for example, and sleep again, and do the same thing again and again and again. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And another thing I wanted is, I wanted to build a network of people exactly like me, and have friends, genuine friends, not these loser friends that everybody has from school or college. That's what I wanted. Those were some of my biggest whys. That got a little bit emotional, but yeah. Now, another thing I wanted to share is, if I were to go back, one thing I would do is I would detach myself from the people who don't believe in me, or the people who, every time I spend time with them, I feel like I'm taking 10 steps backward, and that I had to rebuild my previous state. Let me talk about that. So, a lot of times when I was spending time with family, when I was spending time with dork friends who were making fun of me, the other day I saw a friend of mine, he said, "Oh, hello millionaire, and I was like, yeah, I know I am. I'm gonna become. You're not lying." But he said this in this offensive way. He thought I was gonna be like, "Oh, what are you saying?" But no, I'm not the type of person. So, the thing I would do differently is, I would spend much less time with friends and family. And I know this might sound weird, hard, whatever, but I felt like every time I was spending time with them, it was like they were brainwashing me. It was like they were filling my brain with limiting beliefs, doubt, and all of this stuff. It got into my actions, because something that Napoleon Hill talks about is that a thought is turned into a feeling, which is then turned into an action. So if my thoughts are negative, then my feelings are negative, and then I take a negative action. Sometimes I might procrastinate, or I may be like, okay, this doesn't even work, let me do this other thing. And you don't want to do this. You want to be convicted. You want to be fully convicted when you're starting out. That's what's gonna help you, and that's what helped me reach 10K a month. So yeah, I would definitely, and this might sound harsh again, but I feel like it's not with every family member, of course, but I have certain family members that when I don't talk to them, I've realized, I wrote this yesterday in my notes, and then I wrote it in my note, and I said, I feel much better now that I haven't talked with XYZ family member. And I realized this, I haven't talked to them in like a week or two, and I'm like, I feel really good, So, maybe this won't work for you. Maybe this won't work for you. I'm just saying what worked for me. And maybe you want to try this, and it will work for you too. And the other thing I want to share is, you want to find friends and people who are on the same journey as you, because you don't want to have all these other dork friends from your real life, because they keep you back. Remember this quote: you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Remember this. This isn't some fake thing. It's real. When I was hanging out with dork friends, I couldn't break free. I couldn't reach 10K a month. I couldn't even land a project. I couldn't even close a one-time project. And even though I was sending a lot of hot reads a day. Now why? I don't know why exactly. I'm not this dork, or I don't know the science stuff, whatever. I just know what worked for me. This would work for me. So what I would suggest instead is find a community, find a community with other people on your level, because something that people do is they hang around with, let's say you're a copywriter, which you are, and you hang out with super low level beginner copywriters. This isn't gonna help you either. Because think about it. Let's say you wanted to get some advice. Are you gonna get advice from a beginner, from a complete beginner? How is this gonna help you? If a beginner hasn't even landed a client yet, how is he gonna help you? How is he gonna help you land a client if he hasn't landed a client yet? Does it make sense? How? I don't really get this. So, in my opinion, I think it would be better to avoid friends. Probably if they don't have any goals. Now, if they have goals, if they're in self-improvement, whatever, maybe you can hang out with them. I still hang out with these people. They don't have to, my friends don't have to be copywriters. They don't have to be this type of stuff. They just need to have a growth mindset. That's the people I want to have around me. I don't want to have people who are just sucking me or sucking things from me. Because another thing people don't realize is that when you hang out with these low-level friends who are here and you're trying to grow, what needs to happen so you talk to them? You need to go down. You need to downgrade yourself. You need to go down to their level, because they cannot grow up to your level, so you need to go down. And when that happens, you stagnate your growth. It's like taking one step forward, 2 steps forward, and then a few steps back. 2 steps forward, 1.5 steps back. And it slows your growth so much. You don't realize this. Unless you get away from them and see the results for yourself, you cannot. Maybe you don't believe me, but if you don't get away from them, you won't realize. You won't get what I mean. So get away from them for a week. Don't even do this forever. Don't even tell them anything. Just tell them I'm gonna study or whatever. Get away from them for a few days, a week or something, and see how you feel. This is what's gonna help you. See how you feel. And yeah, you're not gonna die. If you get away from them for a week. We have this instinct, the survival instinct, that if we get away from people, then it's bad. Because in the old days, 50,000 years ago, if you were alone, it meant that you might die. But that won't happen now. You won't die. Come on. So just get away from them for a week, a few days. See how you feel. If you feel good, maybe you want to keep doing this. Maybe you want to just lower how often you see them. Maybe you can just keep talking to them if you don't see any results. If you feel worse, I don't know. It's up to you. I'm just sharing my things and what helped me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope you got some value out of this. And if you have any questions, make sure to drop in the comments and let's have a chat. And make sure to subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you in the next time. Love you.